Right, so it's been confirmed in the gossip today that Jack Grealish could be, could be the player United move for. Grealish is a great player. He's got some tremendous talent. The other player I've been looking for, an English midfielder, is obviously not Jack Grealish, James Maddison from Leicester City, who is apparently close to confirming a deal with the Foxes. So maybe James Maddison to Manchester United could be coming to an end. Obviously, we've looked at, he will be a good fit for United. Jack Grealish, I think he's a great player. A lot of people say he carries Aston Villa in a lot of ways, and I think if Villa do go down, would he want to stay in the Premier League? I'm not too sure whether it would happen or not. I'm not too sure whether Jack Grealish would come to Manchester United, because I think he's a very big Villa fan, and he's been there for a long time in his career. Obviously, when you're a talented player, you'd want to stay in the Premier League. I think he's a Premier League proven player, but I don't know whether he would want to stick around in the Premier League, or come to Manchester United at the moment, but yeah, at the moment I can't see it happening, but maybe there's a possibility he could come to us if Aston Villa do get relegated. So we're going to move on to the next part, which is the Championship promotion race, hotting up a little bit. Leeds and West Brom are the top two. So West Brom are top with 53 points, and we've got Leeds who are on 52 points. Fulham are on 51 points, and there's also Nottingham Forest who are not so far behind either. So there's a lot of teams in the Championship battling it for those playoff places, battling to get into the automatic places as well. Looks rather interesting up there. So I think it is going to be quite a thrilling season in the Championship like it was last season. Obviously there was Norwich that went up, which was highly unexpected. There was also Sheffield United who came up, who've been sensational so far in the Premier League as well. And we thought Leeds would do it as well, but they got knocked out in the playoffs by Derby County. Again, another team that surprised us in getting into the playoffs, because they haven't done really well in recent years. So yeah, the Championship race is currently hotting up at this point in time, and I think it could get rather interesting. Leeds got a Nottingham Forest this week, which is going to be really, really interesting. I don't know whether they would take Forest into the playoff, into the automatic places, but they are doing quite well. There is, it is quite hotting up a little bit there at the moment. I think there might be some times on. I think there might be some games on tonight. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I think it's important that teams do keep on picking up points as much as they can. Next, we're going to look at West Ham. Right, West Ham. I've always thought the problem at West Ham is the owners. Okay, right. I know the West Ham, fans are not really keen on the owners. They do spend money. At least they have some ambition and they want to back, their club. But I think the problem, there's always something funny going on at West Ham. There always is. I mean, look at, I think, you've got to look at people like, Karen Brady, David Sullivan, David Gold. I just find them a bit controversial, to be honest. The talk on Twitter and stuff, and they're very open, very public. I've seen Karen Brady on The Apprentice with Lord Alan Sugar, and obviously we've seen it's an interesting one. I mean, West Ham, since they moved to the London Stadium, I'm not a fan of the London Stadium. I don't think many of the supporters are. I heard in the gossip today that they are going to move the players closer to the pitch. I don't understand some of the decisions they've made. sometimes. You know, I've obviously not been a West Ham fan. I do feel for their supporters. You know, I remember when they did the big protest against Burnley, when fans were invading the pitch and there was loads of angry supporters, loads of angry noise around the stadium in 2018. And, you know, I just don't understand some of the decisions they've made in the past. I mean, obviously Sam Allardyce left. They had a good final season when at Upton Park when Bilic took over from Allardyce. I think that was a good move. I think, you know, when Bilic lost his job, it was no real surprise. Then they brought in David Moyes, which a lot of people were a bit surprised about. You know, obviously he failed at Man United, he failed at Real Sociedad, he got Sunderland relegated, and he managed to keep them up and he resigned at the end of the season. Manuel Pellegrini came in. I thought, wow, this is going to be a good move for West Ham. They were far too inconsistent, even with Pellegrini in charge, far too inconsistent. Had a lot of issues. You know, Pellegrini got sacked in November this season as well. No, it was December, wasn't it? He got sacked after losing to Leicester. But you know, Manuel Pellegrini, obviously, you know, he was a success at Manchester City. I don't know why, you know, he hasn't managed to do anything at West Ham. It was right decision to sack him, and then they brought David Moyes back. I mean, I don't get this sometimes. When you sack somebody and then you go back for that same manager, I don't understand that. You know, you go for the same manager that you had before you brought the last manager in. I find it weird. Obviously, I heard that the West Ham players are more confident under Moyes, but I don't understand it. Really don't. I'm not saying he should be sacked or anything. I'm not saying he's not a good manager, but I'm just saying, really, you know, why would you reappoint somebody that wasn't success? You know, that you've sacked before. I just find it a bit bizarre. So that's the end of the Phil Neville Show, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I shall see you all soon.